Here we are. After 10 hard-fought games, the Mustangs have earned themselves a spot in their 9th straight Yates Cup appearance.
Western has the chance to be the first team to 4P as OUA champions since 1982, a historic achievement which the Mustangs accomplished at the time.
The only obstacle in the Mustangs' way is the undefeated Laurier Golden Hawks.
I'm Alex Zarenda of the Western Gazette,
Manu Joshi,
Tom Science.
and let's get into the 2024 Yates Cup preview. The last time these two teams faced off was back in Week 4 of the regular season. The Mustangs were handed their only loss of the year with a 43-28 showing by the Golden Hawks.
Yeah, Laurier quarterback Taylor Alguerzma torched the Mustangs defense. Despite being sacked twice, Alguerzma completed 24 out of 29 of his pass attempts, throwing for 385 yards. He scored 4 touchdowns, 2 of which he threw for and 2 of which he ran for himself.
And in comparison, Mustangs quarterback Evan Hillick was sacked 3 times and threw an interception. He also struggled with the inefficiencies a bit, completing just 18 of 31 pass attempts. On a positive note, though, Hillick did throw for an impressive 322 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Absolutely. I mean, defensively, it was a rough day for the Mustangs. They allowed 43 points, which was the most they'd given up all season. The closest they'd came to that was the 26 points allowed against the McMaster Marauders earlier this year.
Offensively, the Mustangs have been explosive. They've averaged 49.5 points per game, the highest in the OUA. Right behind them are the Golden Hawks, who put up 38.3 points per game. Western's success has really come from their dominant ground game. They're leading the OUA with 227.8 rushing yards per game, and they're scoring the most rushing touchdowns with 25 on the season.
And speaking of that ground game, the 2 running backs in the backfield, Keanu Yazbek and Keon Edwards, have been leading the way, averaging 68.3 and 60 yards respectively. And let's not forget about quarterback Jerome Rancourt, who has been an absolute unstoppable threat in the red zone, leading the OUA with 9 rushing touchdowns in the regular season. Comparatively, though, Laurier is averaging 174.4 rushing yards per game. The leader in the backfield is Tanner Nelms, who rushes for 96.8 yards per game and has 4 touchdowns.
You know, as good as Laurier is on the ground, their real strength is in their passing game. Quarterback Taylor Alguerzma is a force to be reckoned with. Not only was Alguerzma the 2023 OUA MVP, but more interestingly, he is a London local, going to Oak Ridge Secondary School, which is not too far from Western itself. Throughout the regular season, he posted an OUA high 20 passing touchdowns and also led the league with 330.4 passing yards per game. At an astounding 6'6", with dual threat capabilities, this guy is an absolute freak of nature. But let's not forget about how good Evan Hillock has been behind center for the Mustangs. He threw an impressive 17 passing touchdowns and averaged 255.8 passing yards per game.
Yeah, I mean, the top dog in Laurier's receiver room, though, is Ethan Jordan. He's averaged an impressive 125 receiving yards per game, and he finished with 10 receiving touchdowns, both OUA regular season highs. Now, to compare this with Western's top wideout, Seth Robertson, he caught 9 touchdowns and averaged 74.1 yards per game, while his fellow receiver Motion Jamal averaged 62.3 yards per game and finished with 4 touchdowns.
Defensively, the Golden Hawks have been locked down, allowing an average of 22.5 points per game. That's the second fewest in the OUA. The only team better than that, though, Western, who have only given up an average of 16.1 points per game.
I mean, absolutely. Though through the air, Laurier has allowed 262.9 passing yards per game, while Western has been much stronger in that department, giving up 181.6 yards per game. This could be an area the Mustangs look to exploit, especially because the run games on the defensive side of things are pretty similar. Western allows 126.1 rushing yards per game, and Laurier gives up a pretty similar number in 134.6.
But guys, one player to watch for on Western's defense is Soren Hallschmidt, who's been an absolute menace in the postseason. He recorded 5 sacks in the last 2 playoff games. Absolutely unreal.
In 2 games, that is insane. When it comes to special teams, both Laurier and Western have elite playmakers on their teams. Laurier's Tayshawn Jackson averages 17.3 yards per return, with Western's Roman Campanero averaging 16.9 yards per return. For those who remember, Campanero actually had an electric 101-yard punt return against the Carleton Ravens earlier this season. And when it comes to kicking, Western's Brian Garrity has been exceptional, connecting on 18 field goals this season, while Laurier's Dawson Hodge has nailed 13 of his own.
The biggest X factor in stopping Laurier will be shutting down Alguerzma. If the defensive line can apply pressure to the quarterback, and as they've been all season, postseason long, the Mustangs will be in great shape.
The stage is set. The Stangs will roll to Waterloo at Laurier's University Stadium this Saturday, where kickoff will happen at 1 p.m. With history on the line, the Mustangs are hungry for redemption. But as J.J. Watt once said, success isn't owned, it's leased, and rent is due every day. The question is, are the Mustangs ready to pay that price?